Hello, class. First and foremost, let us thank the God Almighty for having protected us from this infection. We also thank the management for having given us this facility of online classes. So I am going to begin with the second chapter of Science 2, that is life processes in living organisms. Our Mother Earth is blessed with beautiful flora and fauna around us. May it be a unicellular paramecium, may it be a fox, may it be human beings. All these microorganisms survive only because of the life processes that take place in a sequential manner, and therefore they can survive. Now, what are all these life processes? Life processes like the human respiration, circulation, circulatory system, aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, excretory system, and so on and so forth. So today, let us concentrate on the activity which we are going to learn is energy process. Now here in this picture over here, you can see different persons performing different activities. For example, you can see this person utilizing his energy on working with the computers. That means he is using his intellectual energy. You can see in the next picture, this person is utilizing his energy for swimming. Here you can see some mechanic using their skills to mend this vehicle. Of course, here also you can see the chefs preparing different delicacies for getting a nutritious diet. Here you can see the farmer ploughing the field. You can see the children playing in the park. All of these persons are utilizing energy, but from where does this energy come? Yes, my dear students, we very well know that this energy comes from the diet that we consume. We very well know that in the diet we get essential nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Now, when we consume our diet, this complex form of carbohydrates is being converted into a simpler form which is called as glucose. The fats, which is a complex form, is again being converted into a simpler form called as fatty acids. Whereas the proteins, again which is a complex form, is being converted into a simpler form called as amino acids. Now, all these simpler forms get into the body and are being stored in the body. But these simpler forms cannot be utilized directly for the normal functioning of every life process. Each cell requires a particular type of energy, and that energy is none other than ATP molecules, which is also called as usable form of energy. Now, this energy can be given out or can be used in the body for different processes and can be produced in the body at two levels, at the body level and at the cellular level. Today we are going to learn about energy production at the cellular level. Before that, we had already learnt in the lower classes how this energy is being produced by oxidation of certain substances by the process of respiration. Respiration also means oxidation of glucose to generate large amount of energy. In this picture, you can see respiration in the human body as you take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide and large quantity of energy is being produced. Further on, cellular respiration takes place in two types, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, oxygen is involved, while as in anaerobic respiration, oxygen is not involved. That means organisms survive without oxygen. Today mostly we are going to concentrate on anaerobic respiration, in which organisms breathe in oxygen. To start with, let us now get acquainted with what is a cell, what are the cell organelles, and which cell organelles are being involved in this process called as respiration, which is an energy producing process. Now here we start from the outermost shell, which is called the cytoplasmic membrane, and then internally we have got this liquid which is called as the cytoplasm, and we have got smaller bodies which are been floating inside the cytoplasm, which all together these bodies are called as cell organelles. Now here you can see centrally placed circular substructure which is called as the nucleus. In the nucleus, again you can see a circular ball-like structure which is called as the nucleolus. And the liquid inside it is called as the cytosol, which is then bounded by a nuclear membrane. Apart from that, you can see boat-shaped structures which are called as the mitochondrion. They are many in number in animal cells. Also, you can see the zigzag structure which is called as the endoplasmic reticulum, and you can see the centrosome. Now, with this content, we will now further proceed for cellular respiration. Now, in cellular respiration, as I mentioned earlier, it takes place aerobically and anaerobically. In aerobic respiration, there are three steps. The first step is the glycolysis. The next step is carboxylic acid cycle. It is also called as citric acid cycle or the Krebs cycle. And the ultimate step in aerobic respiration is electron transfer chain reaction. Now what happens is, as we already have learned, that carbohydrate ultimately converts into the simpler form as glucose. Now during the process of respiration, this glucose gets oxidized and a large quantity of energy is being produced. How? This takes place in the following steps. So we proceed to glycolysis. In the process of glycolysis, as I said, glucose, which is a 6-carbon compound, by the process of respiration is being converted to 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. These pyruvic acid are 3-carbon compounds along with 2 molecules of ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, and 2 molecules of NADH2, which is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and water molecules. Further on, these pyruvic acid molecules undergo the second reaction, in which this pyruvic acid is being converted to acetyl coenzyme A, 2 molecules of NADH2 and carbon dioxide. So once again we revise. In the process of glycolysis, glucose, a 6-carbon compound, gets converted to 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, 2 molecules of ATP, 2 molecules of NADH2 and 2 molecules of water. This pyruvic acid further acts upon and is being converted to acetyl coenzyme A, NADH2 and carbon dioxide. With this acetyl coenzyme enters into the second step, which is then called as the tricarboxylic acid chain. Now, in this tricarboxylic acid chain, acetyl coenzyme enters into the mitochondria. Can you see this boat-shaped structure? This is mitochondria. Here you can see it enters into the mitochondria and then it is being converted again into NADH plus FADH2 and carbon dioxide. Now, this was the second step, which is then also called as Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. Now, we proceed to the third step of anaerobic respiration, which is then called as the electron transfer chain. Now, in this electron transfer chain, the 2 molecules which are being formed from the trioxalic acid are being converted into 3 molecules of adenosine triphosphate, and the FADH2 which was produced in the Krebs cycle is then converted to 2 ATP molecules. This is how a large quantity of energy is being produced during the anaerobic respiration. So then we can conclude that in aerobic respiration, glucose is finally oxidized to carbon dioxide, water and a large amount of energy. Now, further on, many a times it so happens that circumstances arise when there is no stored energy like that of glucose in the human beings or in the living organisms. So where then the energy comes from? As we know, energy can also be stored in the form of lipids as well as proteins. So during the absence of glucose or carbohydrates, lipids are being used as the source of energy, and then these lipids are converted into the simpler forms, as I mentioned, into fatty acids. These fatty acids are being converted into acetyl coenzyme. This enters the Krebs cycle. Finally, it gives a product of carbon dioxide, water and energy. But if at all we do not have lipids and we do not have carbohydrates, then the ultimate source of energy is only proteins, which has been found in the body. This protein is utilized for respiration by converting itself into amino acids. These amino acids further are converted into acetyl coenzyme, which enters the Krebs cycle and finally produces carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now, this is all about aerobic respiration. What happens in anaerobic respiration? Some of the microorganisms survive in the absence of oxygen, yet they respire. Even the respiration in our muscles also takes place anaerobically. How does this take place then? Again, the stored glucose which is in our body undergoes the process of glycolysis. Through the glycolysis, pyruvic acid is being formed, and pyruvic acid enters into the second process, which is called as fermentation. During this process of fermentation, different products like vinegar, vitamins are being produced in case of various organisms. So also, sometimes in muscle fibers, this pyruvic acid undergoes fermentation. It produces lactic acids and it also takes place in erythrocytes as well as muscle cells. In yeast, pyruvic acid by the process of fermentation is converted to alcohol. So this is how we have finished with the two types of respiration, that is aerobic and anaerobic. Now, further on, as I had mentioned, usable form of energy is nothing but adenosine triphosphate. Now, this adenosine triphosphate has got large amount of energy stored in it. Now, where is this energy stored? Do you think every cell or every process in the body requires same quantity of energy? No. The amount of energy that is required can be produced by this ATP molecules in this process called as ATP energy currency. That means only the required amount of energy is being provided by the ATP molecules. How? Now first we look into the structure of this adenosine triphosphate, which consists of adenine, a pentose sugar which is called as the ribose, and 3 molecules of phosphorus. Therefore it is called as triphosphate. So these get split up into adenosine ribose diphosphate. That means one of the phosphate is being released out to give large quantity of energy, and this phosphate which is being released out is called as inorganic phosphate. This stored energy is being stored in these bonds which is being present in between the phosphorus atoms. So this is how energy is being supplied as per required by the ATP molecules. So with this, we wind up this chapter on energy production.